On today's show, the guys discuss the question posed to them on Twitter. How do EdTech startups approach you with value without seeming like they just want to sell you something? There's a little Nick Flora for the Artist of the Week and more. That's up next on EduTech Guys. EduTech Guys Radio. Radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and this program are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello and welcome to EduTech Guys Radio. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
How is everybody doing out there today?
It's a good day.
It is a good day. Hope things are going well.
This is new for us. We're now using the Mevo to do our recordings. So you get a little video. You get to see us. We both
on the line.
We've both been in the salon, and we now have faces. Still not for radio, but we're here anyway.
I was going to say, I don't know where you're going with that. I haven't been to the salon in many years.
I haven't been to the salon in a long time either. It is what it is, right?
That's right.
I'm still pretty, somewhat pretty. Anyway,
well.
Hey, check us out on the web, www.edutechguys.com. You can drop down to the bottom and fill out the little form there and let us know what you think of the show. In fact, you can catch us pretty much anywhere. Twitter, Google, Facebook, you name it. Heck, just go to Google, type in EduTech Guys. I had to think about it a second. Type in EduTech Guys, and you will find us on the web. Bet your money, bet your bottom dollar, as they would say.
as one person says, Annie. Is she okay?
Annie, are you okay? Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
Hey, also, big thanks to Crossbreeding.com and GoPro for promotional consideration on the EduTech Guys Radio. Crossbreeding is creating a universal learning community by sharing the best and most effective teaching methods and lessons through video and other technology. Crossbreeding.com features several free GoPro lessons, including Fetch, where students capture video of a pet and use the footage to create an adventurous short video from their pet's perspectives.
Awesome stuff. I got to try that sometime. Well, I'd have to get a pet first, but yeah. I think the whole concept is very, very cool. You know, the idea that you're going to take the camera and stick it on whatever animal it is, your cat, your dog, guinea pig, whatever, have it running around, getting that footage, and then putting together a movie, a video based on that. I think it's very cool. That would be a viral thing.
I think it's a pretty cool idea in itself. In fact, in one of our administrative meetings, we've been talking about the report to the public. You know, we do that every year, and it's boring. It's just flat boring. And blah, 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 it's just a lot drone on.
Sure.
It was talk of having like a banquet where all the parents come and eat, and we we're all in one big swoop. Every campus does it. And so I suggested, what'll go even better is student-created videos for that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Because parents love to see their kids, and I get to come and I get to see videos created by some of the kids with the kids in it, and and let them do it in, say, a 2 to 3 minute presentation, and then maybe a 2-minute summary from the principal, and boom, you can knock it out.
And there you go.
And that's the power of video.
It is.
Which Crossbreeding and GoPro get.
Awesome. Very cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Very cool stuff, man.
Yep. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break and catch a little commercial, because we like to play commercials.
It helps pay the bills.
It helps pay the bills. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, are you looking for a fun way to market your brand? Head over to www.edutechguys.com and reach out to us about partnerships and sponsorships and ways to get your information out to our listeners. That's www.edutechguys.com. Welcome back to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and hope you're enjoying listening to EduTech Guys podcast. And hopefully, you're going to learn a lot today. Whether you are an EdTech startup or you deal with EdTech startups or whatever. I mean, just in the scheme of not just EdTech startups. I think the stuff we're going to talk about today
has to do about any EdTech company.
Well, or any company in general, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
selling
really.
any educational company.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really cool.
I think it is too.
And so that's what happened. And I don't have the original tweet, so I can't remember who tweeted it out, but somebody.
I actually have the original tweet.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, AT Now.
All right.
That's at ATNOW app. They reached out on a tweet and they said, what was it? Well, listen to your ISTE debrief. How do EdTech startups approach you with value without seeming like they just want to sell you something?
Yeah, and that is a great question. Because we all know that, especially with a cold call, somebody calls you up and wants to talk to you and you've never heard of them before, you know anything about them, and they start talking about the value that they can provide, Ultimately, in your head, or at least in my head anyway, I start thinking, okay, what is this guy trying to sell? What do they want from me? What am I going to get in return? Is it worth the sale? That type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, we've been doing EdTech a long time, so
right.
We get a lot of calls. Selling us stuff. But that's a great question. And when it was first posed to me on Sunday, posed to our Twitter account, I started thinking about it like, I don't want to answer this too abruptly because that's a great question. And I guess the first thing I started thinking about was, what do startups, how are they different than a regular EdTech company? And to me, we are at the point of data that it's time to start bringing more to the table. You can do your research now. You can do your study on a school district, and you can find out their population and their test scores and the population of their community, their demographics, the median income. You can find out all this information that is specific to, school A. Now, school B, 45 minutes down the road, is completely different. Now, they both might have low test scores, but the community defines what you're dealing with. And I think that all the data we can get now would be a big one. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important as specifically in this context, as an ed tech company, I think it's important that you take that data and, like you were saying, you can have the same scores in two different districts, and it represents two completely different environments. And I think it's very important for ed tech companies that if your goal is to provide value, or at least if that's the perception you want, that I'm going to provide value. First of all, what does that mean? What does that mean to you as the ed tech company? What does that mean to you as you are telling me you want to provide value, right? If I come and I knock on your door and I say, Jeff, I'm here to provide value to you. What the hell does that mean? I mean, what? What value? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? What? You have to tell me. You have to show me what is the value. And I think a big part of that goes to exactly what you were talking about. Show me the data that you're using and where's the value come in? What are you going to do for me that here's my data. Here's my data. My test scores suck this year.
Right.
Or last year. So what?
Right. Well, I think that's the key right there is that you've got to bring to me exactly why your pears are better than everybody else's pears at the farmer's market.
Yes.
Because I need you to have shown me that you care enough about my district to do a little bit more research than just saying nationally the math scores and the state of Arkansas, the state of Mississippi's had math scores. I need you to say, hey, for your city and for your kids, this is where you're sitting, and from the data that we've collected, this is what we can do. Now, the interesting part is that if you, as a startup, put that much interest into a school district and they buy on, then you got to keep doing it. And now you're actually going to have some real data to go with that other data. And so, it's actually a win-win for you because every month, every week, every 3 months, 6 months, every year, you're going to be able to give them a report and say, listen, we came in with this, knowing this data, then we validated that data within, a month or 3 months. And then we helped increase this because we knew that 2 plus 2 was the hard question,
Right.
or 6 times 4, or whatever.
Right.
That this was the problems, and this is where they were having it, and we helped you address that with this. And so it's a win-win, which brings us to how you actually feel about the same thing, just in a different area.
Well, and I think it ties beautifully with what you're talking about. And here was my take when Jeff shared the tweet, and he said, what do you think about this? And I said, I think we should definitely answer this on a show, and let's take some time to really kind of think about what we want to, not just what we want to say, but how does it hit us? And I will tell you the number one thing that first popped into my head. There's a district in our service area, and they had a guy who worked for an EdTech company. And yes, he was a salesman, and that's what he did. And initially, that's what got him in the door at the school district, frankly, is they bought into the product he was selling, and kind of like he came with the product. I know that sounds a little weird, but that's what happened. But a really amazing thing happened is that after the sale, he came into the district and provided the training and the support and the service that the district needed, that they didn't even necessarily know they needed, right? Yes, there's service and support and all that. We all need that. But this was way above and beyond that. In fact, he was in the district, I don't know, probably once a week, if not more.
If not more.
Yeah. So working and working with the teachers, working and helping them with the particular product, yes, but also just helping in general. I mean,
Right.
you talk about providing the value. That's really what that was all about. He came in and he was working with them and working with them. Now, was he making a dime while he was doing that? No, not really.
No.
He was, they weren't paying him for that.
They'd already been paid for everything.
Exactly.
So this was value added, is what this was.
Yes, value added. And then ultimately, where did that end up? The district, when the time came up for it, they're like, well, would you like to renew this? Do you want to buy this for another year? Well, flip, yeah, we got this guy who's absolutely helping us in everything and above. And the next thing you know, yep, we're going to sign this check, and here you go. So he gets paid. He continues to do the same thing. Now, I realize that the potential problem with that, especially with a startup, is that's a lot of man hours and manpower. And I'm using it generically, woman power, whatever, with people power, right?
Right.
So, but that's a lot of investment that person gave to the district.
Sure.
But ultimately, it led to the district buying and rebuying that product because the trust that was built up, the value that was gained or perceived value that they were getting way above and beyond whatever it was that was being sold.
That's right. And that's it. Value added.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. And see, what's funny is following the data trail can bring you to that same conclusion because you're doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
And there's the interesting thing. I mean, if you're selling in a region, and I know as a startup that makes it even harder, but you can get your foot in the door better by bringing to them a specialized value added. We care about your district, and here's the data that we know that you have and that you're dealing with. So that brings that into play. But then, as your startup grows, or as your EdTech company already has the people and has regional support, and see, I think that's what's interesting. You can start to see your sales team drop. You can see your sales team not needing as many people because your regional support, your support people start to become the salespeople too. You don't have to sell it anymore. It'll sell itself. You made a good point about Apple and Microsoft. They sell themselves.
Well, that was one of the things we were talking about before the show started. And that was one of the other points that as we were kind of talking back and forth. When you think of Microsoft, you think of Apple. Do they bring value into a school district? Okay, to a certain extent, possibly, probably, maybe, whatever. But they're selling you stuff. You know that when you sign up with whatever Apple is giving you or doing for you, or you sign up with whatever Microsoft is doing. You know Microsoft is trying to sell you stuff. They're trying to sell you copies of Windows and copies of Office and server software and whatever else. And Apple is trying to sell you, Macs and iPads and all that stuff. But you know that, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's very important for ed tech startups to make sure they know what they're doing. If your goal is an ed tech startup, right? If your mission, whatever you want to call it, if you are a value company, a service company, then that's what you're doing. You're providing that, and ultimately whatever products that you're selling will come along secondarily. If you are primarily a product and by product, I mean, it could be hardware, software, whatever. But if your primary focus is a product and the service is secondary, then know that and frankly, own it. It's perfectly fine. If that's what you're going to be doing, if that's your thing is selling this product, then don't be fake about it and try to pretend you're going to add value or even pretend that the value you're adding is, off the charts value when it's not. And it's okay to not be off the chart value.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't have to be off the chart. You are going to be.
Yeah. Be what you're going to be.
And I think that's very important for especially ed tech startups. One of the things that I don't know. I think about several of our ed tech friends who give away so much of the stuff they create and the stuff they do. I mean, they just give it away. It's out there. You can do whatever you want. And I've actually talked to a couple of them at length about this. I'm like, how do you give away all your stuff? I mean, how do you make a living? And they said, look, I'm giving away my products because some people that take those products totally get it. They totally understand. They're like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can see this. But a lot of the people, the majority of the people, they take the products and go, I don't understand.
Right.
What am I exactly going to do with this? Or I need somebody to show me how to do this. And that's where they step in, and that's where their value comes in. That's where their quote unquote product and service comes in.
Well, and that's the kicker. We know a great 3D company that sells 3D printers and stuff, but they're hiring teachers now to bring in that value added part, which actually is becoming the whole key to it. You're not going to sell 50 3D printers to a school district every year, but you are going to bring a value added product, and they're going to think of you every time. And soon they might even want to pay for that value. Like, we love it. We want more.
Right. Yes.
We want the premium. Wait, give us the premium.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly.
You're exactly right. I think that I think we've covered this. I don't think we need to say anymore. I think we said exactly what needs to be said, and you feel comfortable with what we've.
I'm good.
I mean,
I hope
if you got a problem with it, twitter.com/edutech.
Wow, throwing down the gauntlet. You got a problem? I beat you.
But I mean, I'd like to. If you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, I really like you to reach back out to us and tell us how you feel about that. Because that's how we feel about it.
Yeah.
And there's the thing. David's right. Do what you do.
Yeah, just do what you do, and I think it's very important. And I know I've said this before. I'll just beat it into your head one more time. But seriously, I don't think a lot of companies, or maybe not a lot, it's too strong, but there are definitely companies, especially startups, who think they're doing one thing, but really they were built to do the other. Just know where you are, know who you are, embrace it, and move forward with it.
I agree. Hey, you want to take a listen? Well, we're going to drop out and listen to our artist of the week.
Awesome.
Who is?
This is Nick Flora and Hard Man to Love on EduTechGuys.
Backing it up. I've got a mind that's defined by being right all the time, and
Nick Flora on EduTechGuys. You're listening to EduTechGuys.com, radio.EduTechGuys. That was Nick Flora, Hard Man to Love. The album is the reintroduction of Nick Flora. You can find it on iTunes. You can also find it at Nick Flora, NICKFLORA.com.
Awesome.
One of our favorites.
Oh yeah, man. That's one of the folks that we love to feature on the show. And if you are a musician, an artist, and you would like us to feature your music on the show, give us a holler. Go out to www.edutechguys.com and fill out the form on the main page there. Provide us your contact info, a little bit about you and your music, and we would love to feature you on an upcoming show.
Definitely. Just let us know.
Yeah. Be awesome stuff, man.
Well, it's kind of time for, we don't do Google Tips of the Week anymore.
The EdTech Tip of the Week.
Just as nice.
Smooth.
The EdTech Tip of the Week is this right here. Hey, if you haven't started prepping for school yet, spend one night a week at this point. So, yeah, if you hadn't started yet, some schools haven't dropped down your schedules yet for your classrooms, but you can go ahead and start cleaning up your Google. That would be my tip to you is get your Google cleaned up.
Yeah.
Get ready for the kids coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a quick and short one, but they'll get longer as the school year goes on. And Google's going to start releasing stuff. There'll be some new things come out with their Google Apps for Education, their Google Apps period over the next few weeks. I'm pretty sure we'll see some huge pushes and upgrades. Yeah. And we'll start talking about those value-added features.
That's Google. Right. Exactly.
That's been the keywords for this week are value-added features.
That's right. There you go, boys and girls. Can you say value-added?
Well, cool. Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time on EduTech Guys.
You've been listening to EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.